Picture the thrill of unwrapping a brand new Nintendo Entertainment System, sliding in a game cartridge, and hearing that familiar startup chime. Imagine the magic of a Teddy Ruxpin coming to life, eyes blinking as it told your favorite bedtime stories, or the freedom of cruising around the driveway in your very own Power Wheels. Feeling like the king of the neighborhood. These weren't just toys, they were the ultimate dreams of every 1980s kid. Today, we're taking a trip back to the decade of bright colors, bold ideas, and unforgettable gadgets to see which ones you remember most. 1. Nintendo Entertainment System, NES. Released in North America in 1985, the Nintendo Entertainment System wasn't just a game console, it was a revolution in home entertainment. Its interchangeable cartridges meant you could switch from Super Mario Bros. To The Legend of Zelda or Metroid in seconds, each offering a brand new world to explore. For many kids, this was their first real taste of interactive storytelling, where skill and imagination came together. What set the NES apart was its reliability and polished design at a time when the video game industry was still recovering from the 1983 crash. The crisp 8-bit graphics, catchy soundtracks, and simple yet addictive gameplay made it a hit with both kids and adults. It turned living rooms into arcades and created countless after-school tournaments among friends. Fun fact: the NES was originally released in Japan as the Famicom family computer. Its US debut not only revived video gaming but also laid the groundwork for the massive global industry we know today. For 1980s kids, unwrapping that gray and black console was like holding the keys to endless adventures. 2. Transformers action figures. Launched by Hasbro in 1984, Transformers were more than just action figures, they were shape-shifting marvels that fueled endless adventures. With a few twists and turns, Optimus Prime could go from a mighty robot to a semi-truck, while Megatron transformed into a sleek blaster. This mix of intricate engineering and imaginative storytelling made them irresistible to kids. The magic came from the way each figure tied into a larger universe. The animated TV series, comic books, and even commercials told epic tales of the heroic Autobots battling the evil Decepticons. Kids didn't just play with the toys, they became part of the war for Cybertron, creating their own battles on bedroom floors. Fun fact: the idea originated from Japanese toy lines like Diaclone and Microman, which Hasbro adapted for Western audiences. By the end of the decade, Transformers had become a global sensation, with millions of figures sold and a legacy that still thrives today. In the 1980s, owning a Transformer wasn't just cool, it was proof you had one of the most high-tech toys on the block. 3. Teddy Ruxpin. First introduced in 1985 by Worlds of Wonder, Teddy Ruxpin was no ordinary stuffed bear. He could talk, blink, and move his mouth in sync with the stories he told. Using special cassette tapes, Teddy played audio on one track while another track controlled his facial movements, creating a lifelike storytelling experience that felt magical to children. Kids would sit cross-legged on the floor, eyes wide, as Teddy's gentle voice narrated adventures with his friends. His warm, animated expressions made storytime feel personal, almost like a friend was speaking directly to you. Parents loved that it encouraged listening skills and imagination, while kids simply loved having a bear that came alive. Fun fact: Teddy Ruxpin was the best-selling toy in both 1985 and 1986, outselling even Nintendo in those years. He inspired a cartoon series, books, and a wave of merchandise. For 1980s kids, owning Teddy wasn't just about having a toy, it was about having a bedtime companion who made every story an event. 4. Game Boy. Released by Nintendo in 1989, the Game Boy was the ultimate portable gaming machine of its time. With its chunky gray body, simple controls, and monochrome screen, it wasn't flashy, but it was revolutionary. Kids could now take their favorite games anywhere: the backseat of the car, the school playground, or even under the covers at night with a flashlight. Bundled with the insanely addictive Tetris, the Game Boy quickly became a must-have. Its interchangeable cartridges meant you could jump from Super Mario Land to The Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening without missing a beat. And despite its basic graphics, the fun came from its portability, long battery life, and an ever-expanding library of titles. Fun fact: The Game Boy sold over 118 million units worldwide, making it one of the best-selling consoles in history. It wasn't just a gadget, it was a ticket to endless adventures, tucked neatly into your pocket. For 1980s kids, nothing felt cooler than saying, "I brought my Game Boy, want to play?" 5. Big Wheel. The Big Wheel, introduced by Marx Toys in the late 1960s but hitting peak popularity in the 1980s, was the ultimate ride for young thrill-seekers. With its oversized front wheel, low seat, and brightly colored plastic frame, it offered a sense of speed and excitement without the danger of tipping over like a traditional tricycle. What made it legendary was the handbrake on the side, which let kids pull off dramatic spins and slides on driveways and sidewalks. It wasn't just transportation, it was a performance. Neighborhood races, daring stunts, and skid mark contests were all part of the Big Wheel experience, giving kids a taste of independence and adventure. Fun fact: the Big Wheel's low center of gravity made it not only fun but also safer for younger children, which helped parents feel comfortable letting them ride. For 1980s kids, cruising down the street in a Big Wheel was a badge of childhood freedom. It wasn't just a toy, it was your first set of wheels. 6. Speak and Spell. Released by Texas Instruments in 1978 and gaining huge popularity in the 1980s. The Speak and Spell was a groundbreaking educational gadget that made learning to spell feel like a game. Using one of the earliest digital speech synthesis systems, it could actually talk to kids, pronouncing words and giving instant feedback through its robotic voice. With its bright orange body, chunky keyboard, and small screen, the Speak and Spell was both futuristic and approachable. Kids could choose from different modes like mystery word, where they guessed letters, or secret code, which added a playful twist to learning. The interchangeable cartridges kept the vocabulary fresh, making it endlessly engaging. Fun fact: the Speak and Spell became an icon of pop culture after appearing in the 1982 movie E.T. the Extraterrestrial, where it helped the alien phone home. For many 1980s kids, it was the first piece of tech they could truly call their own, a mix of learning tool and high-tech toy that made them feel smart and cool. 7. Glowworm. Introduced by Hasbro's Playskool brand in 1982. The Glowworm was a plush bedtime companion with a magical twist. Its soft vinyl face would gently light up when squeezed. Dressed in cozy pajamas and shaped like an adorable worm, it was designed to comfort children who were afraid of the dark, serving as both a cuddly toy and a gentle nightlight. The Glowworm's warm, reassuring glow made it a favorite for bedtime routines. Kids would hug it tightly as the light softly illuminated their rooms, making falling asleep feel safe and cozy. Over the years, versions like the musical Glowworm and Glowbug added lullabies and songs, expanding its bedtime charm. Fun fact: despite a temporary recall in the mid-2000s due to safety concerns with materials, the Glowworm remains a nostalgic icon of the 1980s. For many children of the decade, it wasn't just a toy, it was a nighttime guardian, ready to chase away the dark with a comforting smile. 8. Cabbage Patch Kids. First introduced to the mass market in 1983 by Coleco, Cabbage Patch Kids were unlike any other dolls of the time. Each one had a unique face, soft fabric body, and came with its own birth certificate and adoption papers, making every doll feel like a one-of-a-kind family member. The concept, created by Xavier Roberts, tapped into kids' desire for something personal and special. The craze was so intense that parents would line up for hours, and sometimes fight in stores, to get one during the holiday season. With their round faces, big eyes, and signature yarn or sculpted hair, Cabbage Patch Kids became instant companions for millions of children. Fun fact: by the end of 1983, nearly 3 million dolls had been sold. Yet demand still far exceeded supply. Cabbage Patch Kids didn't just dominate toy aisles, they became a full-blown cultural phenomenon, appearing in TV shows, animated specials, and even inspiring a movie. For 1980s kids, adopting a Cabbage Patch Kid was a childhood milestone. 9. My Little Pony. Introduced by Hasbro in 1983, My Little Pony brought a burst of pastel colors and fantasy into the toy boxes of countless 1980s children. Each pony had a unique, cutie mark on its flank, a brushable mane and tail, and a name that sparked imaginative play, like Firefly, Applejack, or Twilight. The toys encouraged storytelling, creativity, and hours of pretend adventures. Kids would spend afternoons brushing and styling their ponies' hair, swapping them with friends, and inventing elaborate tales of friendship and magic. The toy line's charm quickly expanded beyond the figurines, spawning animated TV specials, a full series, books, and even a feature film. Fun fact: the original My Little Pony line ran until 1992. But its popularity was so enduring that it was revived in the early 2000s and remains beloved today. For 1980s kids, having a row of ponies lined up on a shelf wasn't just a collection. It was a colorful little world of their own making. 10. Power Wheels. Debuting in the early 1980s, Power Wheels were the ultimate status symbol for kids who dreamed of driving. These battery-powered ride-on vehicles came in the form of mini-jeeps, trucks, and sports cars, complete with working doors, realistic decals, and even functioning radios in some models. For a child, it was as close as you could get to real driving without a license. Kids would cruise around driveways and backyards, steering confidently and shifting between forward and reverse, while imagining off-road adventures or neighborhood patrols. The thrill wasn't just about speed, it was about the independence and control that came with having your own set of wheels. Fun fact: by 1990, annual sales of Power Wheels had topped 1 million units, cementing their place as one of the most coveted toys of the decade. For 1980s kids, unwrapping a Power Wheels on Christmas morning was pure magic, the kind of gift you never forgot. So, which of these unforgettable 1980s gadgets did you dream of having, or maybe even owned? Was it the thrill of cruising in a Power Wheels, the magic of a Teddy Ruxpin bedtime story, or the endless adventures of a Nintendo cartridge? Share your favorite memories in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories. And if this trip back to the greatest decade of childhood made you smile, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and join us for more nostalgic journeys through the treasures of the 20th century.